All right, guys, good afternoon. Welcome aboard to the aftermarket recap. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. Thanks again for joining me today and every morning and afternoon here at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is 5:07. Sorry about that. I was finishing up a little research note that I had on SPY. I'll explain it to you here. If you want to take a look at it yourself, feel free to take a look at our Instagram, G.A.R Capital, all one word on Instagram. Before we begin, bottom right-hand corner of your screen, little white logo, turn on that. Click on that, turn on notifications, subscribe to our channel. Make sure to click like if you like these videos. Appreciate you again, as always. Let's go ahead and talk about it. The Dow Jones closed up 92 points. Nasdaq gained 3.34%. S&P gained 1.5%. The VIX closed red, down 2.26% at 3032. Equal weight S&P up nearly 1%. Small caps did gain 2.62%, 198.04. The dollar did gain as well, 97.08. Up nearly 1%. Yields were down slightly, about 8 basis points, 1.969. Gold actually was green this morning, but actually fell with the risk-on sentiment. 177.14 for GLD, down 0.65%. Silver down 1.85%. They were up this morning, 22.31. High yield credit did gain as well, 0.71%, 83.14. Investment grade bonds up 0.47%. Crude oil did gain about 1%. It was as high as around 101 today on the futures market. Now it closed at $93. Gasoline futures were up above $3. Now it's at $2.91, up 1.40%. Gold futures are back down at $19.05 an ounce. They were up a lot higher earlier, as much as we were as high as 1976. So a quick $71 sell-off from the peak on gold. And on silver, kind of the similar deal, 25.70 down to 24.28. Even Bitcoin did gain as well to 38,625, up nearly 2.5% or over 2.5%. Ethereum 2630, up 0.52%. Well, that's a mouthful. There's a lot that happened today. Let me go ahead and go over first what exactly happened in the market. So what you had yesterday was basically the invasion yesterday of Ukraine. And you could see that yesterday we shaved off as much as what, Nick, 900 points on the Dow, 900 points on the Dow. The S&P was down nearly to 4101. That level, that was kind of support right there. Obviously now it looks like it. I just redid the Fibonacci levels. And looking at the daily chart to give us a little more clarity, you could see the range of this candle down to 4101. Yet we closed about 168 points on a turnaround to the upside. So this is not something that's new. There was an interesting article or interesting factoid that came out. This came from CNBC's Carl Quintanilla, and he took this from Hearn on the Markets on Twitter. I went ahead and retweeted it. Take a look at it. Nasdaq Composite. So let's go and bring up the Nasdaq real quick. And you can bring up the Nasdaq here. Nasdaq Composite, again, we know what that is. I'm going by Nasdaq futures. At the high, it was up 3.44%. At the low, it was down 3.45%. You can see on your bottom right-hand corner right here. That's a 6.89% swing. That's the widest that we've had since March 2020. March 2020. Why is that important? Let me go and show you. We're going to go back to March 20th, 2020. This is a weekly candle, so I'm going to go and bring up a daily, and then we're going to go ahead and change the time frame to 3 years, just to kind of give us a little bit of clarity. Right here is March 2020. I'm going to zoom in there. March 2020 is right here. The next day, we officially hit the bottom on the Nasdaq since COVID. Now, you can do that with that information as you want. Did I buy any stocks today? All I bought today was 5G. Is the bottom in? That's difficult to say because COVID and this time were completely different. Are they both oversold? Obviously, in COVID it was. This time we don't know. The claim is not to have a crystal ball. The claim is to give you some context. Here's the other point of I want to go ahead and show you guys from the note. If you look at the shaded areas on SPY, you could see that we had, let me go and bring up a weekly chart. It's a little better. Here we go. So every spot that's shaded is 3 consecutive red candles on SPY. That is 3 consecutive weeks of red, each one being a weekly candle. You can see we had 3 weekly candles in a row, then we spiked. I didn't even include that in the research note. I just did it since COVID. COVID being the outlier, having 5. And then what happened once we hit that 5th, we continued to run until August, where we had another, or August, September, where we had another 3-week red candle, 3 consecutive weekly candles. And then another 3 weeks passed, and then we had another 3-week candle, but it was higher. We actually tapped below that, lower, but yet that next one went higher, all the way until February 2021. February 2021 exactly. And you have 3 red candles there. What happened then? We had to shoot up all the way to where we had the next 3 weekly candles. Unless we close above 436, this is going to be a red weekly candle. Now, could we gain 436 tomorrow? We'd actually have to have a 2% day tomorrow in order for us to close the week green. Why is this important? Because looking at the patterns, this would be indicative of a possible bottom and a continued shoot up. On average, when you have 3 consecutive red candles, the move to the upside is 22%. 22% from 416 at the bottom of where we were, which was my calculation before, it may be a little less to 410, would give us to right around 522 on SPY. Is that out of the question? It's not out of the question as per se, is that can this pattern actually hold up? So do I say that we're closer to a bottom? I wish we had a little more of a capitulation moment where everyone was panicking, but we didn't hit that yet because the VIX did not get to a level that was anything different than we've seen before. A break of 40, 50 would be nice, obviously, but we didn't get there. So there was still some cautious optimism that the selling would be over. Now, there is a lot of moving factors here. Inflation has not gone away. The Fed still needs to raise rates, but that could be included in that 3 week, 3 red candle cycle on SPY. So I'm not here to say the worst is over. I'm saying here that once we start breaking certain levels, it may be. What are the levels that we're looking at on SPY? Really, excuse my shading here. 437. If 437 does break, or 436, that's where it gets to the point where the worst of the Russian-Ukrainian headlines in terms of affecting the market could be done. It could be overdone, and then we kind of stick around and bounce around between 445 and 437. Would that be considered a win? Short term, sure. Absolutely. Would that get us anywhere we need to be back to green for the year? No. So again, there's still an uphill climb, but again, closing where we closed on SPY, all we really did, guys, is get to the bottom of this latest range. So let me go ahead and expand this. And you could see it on the fib here right around 425 to around 437. So again, this could be your next support. I wouldn't be surprised if we fall back down tomorrow a little bit, maybe to 422, 425, and then we can go ahead and close above 430. That would be a good price action. As long as we stay above 425.37, then again, it would be nice to see. But again, guys, over the weekend, it's going to be a little difficult. So again, I'm still leaning to the put side for, if anything, for next week. But again, we could get some green too. I know it sounds like a weatherman saying partly cloudy with a chance of rain. Again, guys, this is more of a short covering rally. What happened today? A lot of people who were short closed their positions. When they close, they have to buy. I've gotten that question maybe 12 times on Instagram today. Why is the stock market up? It's rigged. What you get with that being said is, again, if you are short and you need to close your position, you have to buy. Most of this here was short covering. Now, again, if we continue to the upside, could that still be short covering? Sure. Again, it depends on how much shorts we have out there. And of course, we have extreme pessimism out there. So again, we just have to play it day by day, headline by headline. So again, I would not be doing any real buying of anything as of yet, dip buying yet, because we may have another leg down, guys. And of course, the trend is still down. Is it a nice day today? Yes, but the trend is still down. All right, let's go ahead and answer some questions. Idari is asking, are we out of the woods with SPY? No, we're not out of the woods yet. We still need a little more confirmation of the upside. 437, 436 would really help. I'm glad I bought the dip just last Friday. Very nice. Do we have a similar pattern in Nasdaq with SPY? Nasdaq and SPY are pretty close. Nasdaq has been falling below, has been underperforming SPY. Let me see if they have the same 3 weekly patterns. I see a couple. There's another 3. So again, it looks very similar. So actually, it is pretty similar. So again, but look at the weekly candle on Qs. It's actually green. SPY's is still red. So again, we'll see what we get from Qs. But again, Qs are doing better on a weekly chart in terms of their candle than SPY is. So again, is it the same? No, but again, pretty similar. But again, SPY is the one that actually has continued the three red candles. So keep in mind, this is just math, and this is just a theory of what we had. If we close green on the week for SPY, first of all, that'd be a huge win. But again, that would invalidate all the three red candle theory there or analysis. Keep in mind that 3 consecutive red weeks on the S&P is pretty rare. We've only had about 4 instances in 2 years. Can you explain what you guys saw, what made you SPY call today? I'm just trying to understand what you're looking for. Y'all are awesome. Oh, thank you. Yes, we were looking for that bounce as we saw more volume come to the upside. So again, everyone was on one side of the fence. What we did was right before Biden was speaking, about an hour before that, and trust me, I was sweating that trade with the team. But again, I trust them completely. Again, what we started to see was a heightening pattern as we went up a little bit. Actually, what you had was lowering volume right at 416, and then we continued to move up. The reason we were playing that was the fact that we actually started reversing a lot of the futures losses, even as headlines came in. So again, it looked like the seller exhaustion more than anything. But again, we have to see exactly, can we do it again is the question. It's nice to get it now, but at the end of the day, what was really looking at as well was one simple factor, and I forgot I wrote it down. Take a look at SPX. I put that on the chat as well. We were right around 41.95 playing SPY. We basically played the gap fill, which was yesterday's gap. That's basically all we paid on SPX, and it filled and it continued to go up. If we would have held, I think it went up to 120%. And congratulations on the futures team on an awesome gold play. They caught it, they sold it, and then it sold off. So excellent work on the team. I think that was the best futures trade that we got. It was about 60 points on futures, which is pretty great. We hit a trail stop and we got out. Our entry level was right at 1913, which is, if we still held, would basically put us slightly at red. But 1913, right at the ignition, we got it. And they closed at 1949, which is as pretty good as you get, even with the volatility. So a nice big boost. And then it came back down a little bit. Sure, we could have gotten 1976, but that's a tough one. But yes, mostly it was the gap fill on SPX that made us get into it. And then we also looked at, on a technical level, the scalp approach. We basically, on QQQ yesterday, we had 37%. I didn't close, so we played more of a scalp, try to be as nimble as we can. So 4160 was the first resistance. It broke. Then we're looking to 4260, which translated to the S&P at 426. The daily breakout retest. So again, looking at for short squeeze profit taking from the shorts. Good afternoon, Carmen asks. Carmen says, good afternoon. By the invasion type of day, I see QQQ with a big head and shoulders pattern. Yeah, we're not out of the woods yet, obviously. But again, we still have to see the continuation either tonight or moving into Monday. A lot of headlines could still come. A lot of things could happen. A lot of moving parts that are outside market forces. But if you're looking at just patterns, a break of 344 would tell us a lot on Qs. If we can get there, then I'd see a little more optimism to the upside. What's your opinion on XOM and Oxy? President Biden stated that he was going to go ahead and actually release more of the strategic reserve. I still have my XOP position. It was up 1.7%. It was as high as 114 earlier, but I'm still holding that. Again, inflation didn't die because, the invasion happened. There's still demand for crude. There's still supply issues. OPEC is still not drilling as much as they would, the market would want to lower prices. So again, the long oil trade is not dead. So again, Oxy and Exxon are fine. Thoughts on Fortinet versus Crowd versus PNW? I'd have to do more of a deep dive into what more of their financial numbers are out there. I know CrowdStrike is a big favorite amongst people, but I'd have to research a little more. Your info is so helpful, by the way. Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah, I had that question like all day today regarding the short squeeze. A lot of people who were short got caught off sides. Let's go ahead and take a look at some earnings and we'll wrap it up for the day. Here it is. Let's see it. Let's see. Rocket Companies, 32 cents EPS versus a 38-cent estimate. 2.59 billion versus 2.56 billion. Board declared a special dividend of $1.01 share. Guides Q1 net rate lock volume 50 to 57 billion. Closed loan volume 52 to 57 billion. Gain on sell margins 2.8 to 3.1 billion. Their EBITDA, adjusted EBITDA, was a big miss in terms of year-over-year growth. Let's go to Square. Reports Q4 earnings, EPS 27 cents, profitable versus 19-cent estimate. Well done, Square. I do own shares. Revenue 4.08 billion versus 3.98 billion. Bitcoin revenue 1.96 billion versus 1.95 billion. Adjusted EBITDA was $1 million miss year over year. We'll take a look at Square quickly. Let's take a look at Rocket first. Rocket is basically a couple of cents off today, but again, I'd have to take the percentage, but they are down after market. Square is soaring after hours. They must be having their conference call. If you own Square, congrats. It's nice to see it bouncing. I've been holding that thing for a little bit. AMD with some news today. What was the news? Announces an $8 billion share repurchasing authorization. That's very big. That's a lot of confidence from the CEO, Lisa Su, one of my favorite CEOs in the market. And $8 billion amounts to 4.2 billion of their market cap, and they're buying that back. So shares are definitely soaring on this news. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we get to 120. AMD being part of the S&P semiconductor sector. We also had another earnings report on Beyond Meat. Let's go and take a look at Beyond Meat. They're down after hours. Here's a report. Q4 negative 1.27, $1.27 EPS versus a negative 73 cent EPS. $100.7 million revenue versus $104 million expectation. That's a miss. Their guidance fiscal year 22 revenue 560 to 620 million. That's missing the estimate of 625 million. So their guidance, EPS, and revenues were all misses. Not the best report for Beyond. Let's take a look at Etsy. Etsy is up after hours. Here's the numbers. Q4, $1.11 versus 76 cents estimate. That's a beat. $717 million versus $686 million in revenue. That's a beat. Q1 revenue, $565 million to $590 million. $617 million was the guidance. EBITDA margin, 26%. And yep, there you go. So again, a nice beat by Etsy. Nice beat on the top and bottom line. The only issue was the guidance did not meet expectations or beat it. Looks like investors are cheering the actual number. Last one here, Coinbase. See if we can get that here. And Coinbase is another stock I own. They are down after hours. On the after hours, the initial pop was at 205. Here's their Q4 report, $3.32. Let me go and move it. $3.32 EPS versus $1.95 EPS. That's a big beat. 2.49 billion versus 1.81 billion on revenue. Guidance Q1 trading volume lower quarter over quarter. Guides fiscal year 22 annual average monthly transacting users 5 to 15 million versus 9.6 million on the estimate. So a good quarter regarding the revenue and earnings growth. Again, this is a profitable company. So again, Coinbase does move with crypto. We're still seeing a nice bounce in crypto. We're at 38,433. But at the end of the day, we just have to wait and see what we get afterwards. Remember, we also had earnings report from Football TV yesterday, and I believe they had nice revenue, but EPS was still negative, and they popped today 10%. So again, we have to see what tomorrow brings us. Why is Oxy halted today? Early earnings. I think the earnings were early. I saw something about them being their report, but Occidental says they're going to buy back an additional 3 billion shares. So maybe that's what it was. Then they also raised their quarterly dividend to 13 cents a share, previous 1 penny. So a 13x dividend increase on Oxy Petroleum. Let's go and take a look at it. I'm pretty sure they should be up, but they are up slightly after hours, I guess. Nothing too sexy about this move in terms of the price. But again, if you are an investor, you definitely got a nice return on your dividend. What a day. But it was a lot to go over, guys, and I understand. Feel free to take a look at this video later on if you like. There's a lot of things I hit upon, a lot of trends, a lot of patterns. Again, nice day today. Don't get me wrong. It feels good. But guys, we're not out of the woods yet. We know the drill. Stay vigilant and, just watch everything. It's really day by day. Don't be surprised if tomorrow we're red. Don't be surprised if tomorrow we're green. Think of it as poker. Whatever you got in your hand, that's exactly what you want it to happen. So again, keep the poker face and go from there. And yep, football, I do own shares. I have not bought any more stock other than SpyG today. So again, I still haven't deployed cash yet because I don't think we're at a bottom as of yet. So we'll go ahead and leave it there, guys. Have a great rest of your afternoon. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day, guys. I understand there's fear in the market, and I understand with all these headlines, what we try to do is really put things in context and try to give you our analysis and a lot of news. I apologize if you get flooded on your Twitter with all the alerts. We're trying to give you as much information as possible from a source that you can honestly trust, because we're not going to spin anything. We're going to keep it real with you guys as always. So again, I really am humbled that you guys listen, that you guys watch on a daily basis, that you guys watch our Twitter, read our Instagram. The most important thing that we do is to help you guys. And again, even if you're not a member, maybe you're not a paid subscriber, doesn't matter. We're here to help. We want to help in every way we can. And in the turbulent world of this stock market, it's good to have at least a team on your side that's looking out for you and giving you the information you need. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your afternoon. Cheers.